Hi guys, just going to do a quick introduction to the fact that we are going to read this book, Once Upon a Time. We can't read it word for word, but we're going to give it a go. So I thought while we're here, we'll just look at some pictures of lovely Anita Wood. Now, Anita Wood, I think, is one of the most popular girlfriends that Elvis ever had, especially with the fans. I heard that lovely Gladys, Elvis's mum, really liked Anita. They were seeing each other for quite a while. Now, unfortunately, Elvis was too young and not really ready to commit to one person. So they had a beautiful romance, a very special romance. And this is clearly shown in this book. But I will say this, guys, Elvis wasn't ready to settle, in my opinion. So just quickly flicking through these pictures. And then we're just going to very quickly, we've only got about 15 minutes. I wonder if I can make these bigger. I don't know if it's going to let me. Let's go big. Let's see if it will let me change the picture. No, it won't. But look how beautiful she is, guys. She's so stunning. Should we see what it says? A rising young star, Anita Wood, daughter of Mr. and Mrs. A. Wood Jr., 114 O'Neill, left for Memphis again this morning after a short visit. She's holding a toy dog Elvis gave her. Anita says next week she's going to a Blytheville Arc, where she'll be the feature singer at the Cotton Picking Festival. I mean, she was famous in her own right, guys, wasn't she? We know this. So let's get back to this book. Okay. So basically, guys, I've read many books now. This is my standout favourite book. My standout favourite book. It was written by Anita's daughter. It just seems like a lovely book. Let's have a look. Follow Anita on her journey and relationship with Elvis Presley as he continues his amazing rise to iconic status. Anita was there through the early and pivotal events of the King's life that altered him forever, including the loss of his mother and his induction into the army at the peak of his career. The reader is there through all the emotions, and as Elvis gets his life back on track while Anita is a rising star in her own right, she tries to balance her career and relationship with the most famous person in the history of music. Her story is told with loving and heartfelt remembrance of what was and what could have been. I think that's pretty clear. And it says here, a most engaging, compelling, introspective look into the romantic lives of two people who were very much in love, Elvis Presley and Anita, interestingly told through the eyes of a third person, a real page turner, obviously through the eyes of her daughter. I just think we loved reading this book. We loved reading the book. Let's just have a look here. The year was 1957. Elvis Presley was on top of the world, just 22 at the time, and he was not just the king of rock and roll, but a handsome prince who had his choice of all the fair maidens in the land, and yet, like a true fairy tale, he fell in love with Anita, a rising musical talent, and with the looks of a beauty queen, and she's stunning. She is stunning. Anita put her own career aside to be with Elvis, her first love, and his steady girlfriend for the next 5 years. So, not straightforward, guys, because it was around 5 years, but they did have their problems. Unfortunately, I feel that Elvis, as much as he loved Anita, and I do believe that he loved Anita, we know Gladys loved Anita, I do feel that he just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. Now, this is a very beautiful, talented young lady. She was successful in her own right. She didn't need Elvis. She wasn't after him for money. She was a very well brought up, decent girl with good morals. Highly respect Anita. She really was a one-off. She would have been great for Elvis. But come on, guys, Elvis wasn't ready. Yeah, he had a life to live. So I feel sad that she did get hurt. She did get hurt. She waited for Elvis. She committed to Elvis. So I do feel sorry for her. A heartfelt memoir of Anita's life when Elvis, from 1957 through to 1962, written by Jonita Brewer Barrett, Anita's daughter. The book takes readers back to the magical time that many believe was among the best years of her life. His career was taking off. He had just purchased Gracelands, where Anita lived with Elvis for most of their time together, and life seemed incredibly good. So it was a fairy tale, guys. It was. You know, they would drive around together in Memphis, and she would visit him on different movie sets like King Creole. Now, I do think a big changing moment for them was when she didn't go to live with him temporarily in Germany in the house in Bad Neuheim when Elvis was serving his military service. I think this really was the beginning of the end for them. Colonel Tom Parker was blamed for this, but I think there was more to it. I do think Colonel Tom Parker liked Elvis to be seen as a single man. I think he felt it was good for his career, good for record sales, movie attendance. But I also think Elvis at some point needed his space. But again, if you read the love letters that Anita sent Elvis, and we've read them on here before, he did miss her. He did miss her. He didn't want any other man to go near her. Yeah, he wanted Anita for himself. I think he did love her. She definitely loved him. Now, it just wasn't meant to be. But the story is beautiful. This is a very beautiful book. And unfortunately, when you get to, I think, around chapter 7, 8, things start to turn sour. And so then it says, through the eyes of her daughter, Anita recaptures the joy and excitement of two young people in love. She shares many moments that bonded her to Elvis and Elvis's family, including the shocking news that he had been drafted into the army in 1958 and the devastation he felt later that years by the sudden death of his beloved mother, Gladys. And we know Elvis was never the same again. It's so sad that Gladys died so young, 46, whilst he was doing his basic training at Fort Hood. She was there. Anita was there. She witnessed all of this. Just the whole thing is very sad. Gladys really did like Anita and trusted Anita. Anita was good for Elvis. And I think even with Gladys, if Gladys had lived longer, I think Elvis would have had a much simpler, nicer, happier life if Gladys had lived longer. I really do think there was a new Elvis emerged after Gladys passed, an Elvis that was unfortunately never the same again. He still went on to have many happy years, but always tainted by the loss of his beloved mother, Gladys. Once Upon a Time traces Anita's own journey in the show business, which include appearances with such entertainment legends as Jack Parr, Buddy Hackett, Andy Williams, Dick Van Dyke, but it also revisits some of the most painful memories of Anita's life, from the lengths that Elvis's manager took to shield their relationship from the public, to the heartache and betrayal that made her realise that their fairy tale had to end. She was a very proud woman. We've all heard about the phone call, quite a long phone call. I think it's 25 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube, where they're sort of bickering, quite funny in places. But I'm glad we've got it to listen to. There's even recordings of Elvis and Anita singing together, which is beautiful, by the way. Absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to post it on here, Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. So the intention, guys, is to read bits of this book. We can't read it word for word because we get told off by YouTube. We got to do things right, but look at that. Look how beautiful she is. Now this is a stunning girl. Stunning. A stunning, talented girl. I completely understand why Elvis was smitten for her. Should we read this? A special message from Anita Wood. This book was written from my precious memories through my only daughter, Janita Barrett. Her words made me relive some of the most wonderful and some of the most trying times I have ever experienced. I was with Elvis when everything seemed new. So she was with him at the beginning. I think just after June Junico, and we're going to cover her as well, and their beautiful fishing trips that they did. That colour footage that shows Gladys and Vernon and June Junico and some of the guys just having the best day, the best time out on this fishing boat. Beautiful weather, lovely colour footage that you will find on YouTube. I really want to cover June Junico because she's lovely. But this, I think, Anita comes along just after. As far as I know, Lamar Fike, Elvis got Lamar Fike to phone her. Elvis had seen Anita Wood presenting a pop show on TV, I think. So Elvis asked Lamar to phone her, ask her on a date. She said no because she'd already arranged a date with another gentleman. But the next time Elvis phoned, she met him. They had their first date and they really did have chemistry. They did have sparks. So they hit it off straight away and they were together every day straight away. Obviously, both of them have very full, busy careers. Not just Elvis. Anita was very sought after and was offered a film contract, I think, from Paramount. So this Anita Wood could have been a world famous movie star. She was a great singer, a brilliant dancer, a great actress. She had it all. She had the world at her feet. But I feel, after reading this, that she put it all on hold for Elvis. Hoping they would marry one day. Hoping one day Elvis would be ready to commit. It just was never going to happen. Which is very sad because I think they're lovely together. But I also think June Junico and Elvis are lovely together. The Elvis of 55, 56, 57, I think is a very special Elvis. Yeah. One of my, when I read about Elvis, it really touches my heart. So Anita says, Elvis and I were at home to each other during his rise and his superstardom. He was the first love. He was my first love. So she admits he was her first love. I have felt an almost painful connection with overwhelming sense of loyalty to him ever since he came to my door for the very first time. It has not always been logical, but that is the way I feel. I have shared my memories with my daughter all of my life, but over the last several years, we have spent many long hours together discussing my feelings and thoughts about my time with Elvis. Could you imagine the memories that she's got? The memories she has with Elvis, like early, young Elvis. Yes, Elvis was very famous, but I don't think he had been that altered. I think really from Gladys passing and onwards, there was a different Elvis. So it says, we have spent many long hours together discussing my feelings and thoughts about my time with Elvis. Jonita, my daughter, has pushed me to remember so that we could all share that wonderful and well as not so wonderful moments that he and I shared during the first years together. And they had some very special times together. They really did do a lot together. But it did start to turn sour. And I don't blame Anita. I think Elvis just wasn't ready. Elvis's life was about to unfold in front of him. He had the temptations of fame, success, of money, the trappings of being the most famous, loved man in the world, adored by every woman on the planet. And how many men would have done any different? How many men at such a young age could fully commit themselves to their partner under those circumstances? You know, early 20s. Yeah. So I understand why Elvis couldn't commit to Anita. I haven't talked about Elvis to the media much over the years. He never wanted me to, and I understand that. Elvis wanted to keep it private. Nor have I ever wanted to diminish my memories of Elvis in any way. And yet, for years, so many people have tried to convince me that I should write a book about our life. And until now, I have always resisted. But with this encouragement of my family and the persistence of my daughter, I finally decided it was time to share my memories with you. So her daughter convinced her to do this. She spent her whole life and didn't write a book. That to me shows a real sense of loyalty, of trust. I really do believe that Elvis trusted and respected and admired Anita. It never ceases to amaze me how anyone would still be interested in my experiences with my love of Elvis Presley. I hope you enjoy reading about us. Love to her and all my family, Anita Wood. The thing we know as fans is that we fans are obsessed with everything Elvis. We want to know the ins and outs of Elvis's life, with the different girlfriends, with the Memphis Mafia, with all the experiences that Elvis had. So it really does matter to us. So we're going to start reading bits of this book. I'm going to come back for a part 2 a little bit later. I hope you enjoy it, guys. So this is just a little brief introduction to this book. So thanks, guys. I'll be back later. See you later, alligators.